is coming that threatens our kingdom, our freedom. But we have a weapon they are not prepared for.
My king, the Europeans wish to conquer us. They will not stop until the whole of Africa is theirs. We must fight back for our people.
Aniska, you are asking me to take them to war. War.
Some things are worth fighting for.
Don't know, take my power. Don't know, take my power.
You are called to join the king's guard.
Don't know, take my power.
No kingdom in all of Africa shares this privilege. Train hard, fight harder. We fear no one. And we fear no pain. I offer you a choice. Fight or we die.
Ready for war, where you going?
To be a warrior, you must kill your tears.
We are the spear of victory! We are the blade of freedom! We are Dahomey!
Don't know, take my power. Don't know, take my power.
Alright guys, and welcome to Mika Reaction Reviews, where we react and review to things on the internet. And unless you've been living under a rock, you might have heard of the trending hashtag boycott the woman king. Now, why would somebody want to boycott such a culturally rich movie about powerful black women from Africa, a rich African empire built off the backs of slaves? Okay, so this story is a little old, unfortunately. The night that I found out about the travesty and the dumpster fire, that is the woman king, YouTube decided to yeet me off the internet, or off the YouTube space, and I got a strike. Your girl got a strike for a fucking short that I uploaded like so long ago. Anyway, I couldn't upload for a week. I couldn't even post for a week. They are cruel not to let the creators have some sort of communication with their subscribers and viewers. But anywho, your girl is back. However, I remember seeing this trailer because it was right after I did my reaction to the race swapping of The Little Mermaid and people's reactions to that. And I remember going on a rant of saying, like, why can't they just give black people their own movies that is original, that is creative, that, you know, they put a lot of work into it. And then I saw this trailer, The Woman King. I saw it on like another YouTuber's like just thumbnail, and I didn't even look at it. I just said, oh, you know, let me look up this trailer to see, you know, about the movie. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started watching the trailer, I was like, okay, all right, yes, I can get the wokeness of it because it's about strong, powerful female warriors, but it's a movie. It doesn't always have to be super to reality, so I can dispense reality a little bit and imagine that women are more physically stronger than a bunch of warrior men or male soldiers. So as I'm watching it, I like Viola Davis. She is a seasoned actress. She is also a very good actress. I'm not gonna lie, I also really like the soundtrack of the trailer. They really knew how to pull you in. And I was like, okay, it's about Africa, diaspora. It seems like an original film. Congrats, like, thank you Hollywood for finally doing something right? And then I decided to scroll down to the comments section thinking that I was gonna see a bunch of comments talking about how woke this was simply because it's about strong black women. right? But that's not what I saw. The first comment said, ha ha ha, like, I can't believe they're making a movie about one of the most powerful, strongest slavers in Africa. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, but it's just one comment. And then so I scroll to the second comment, same. Scroll to the third comment, same. Fourth, fifth, sixth comment, same. And I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. In 2022 in woke Hollywood, would they make a movie to celebrate tribes that was involved in the Atlantic African slave trade? There's no way. So I decided to go onto YouTube search, type it in, and that's when I found Boycott, the Woman King. And then that's when I went down the fucking ass rabbit hole. There's a meme on Twitter that perfectly describes what I was going through at that moment of like, what the fuck? Like literally, like what the fuck? So let's back it up just a little bit. The Dahomey, who are the Dahomeys? They were a rich African tribe and they got most of their riches off of trading Africans in the Atlantic African slave trade. They sold Africans to Europeans, they sold Africans to other African countries, and they just sold Africans around the world. That is how they got their riches. That is how they became as powerful and as big and as influential as they were, off of killing other Africans, enslaving other Africans. And not only that, they were brutal at it. They were unmercifully, uncaring, unempathetic, unsympathetic to their slaves. They were brutal at it. So a lot of times when tribes or other outside sources come and sort of take people's land, they take the land for other resources. They take the land for the land so they can farm, so they can mine, so they can enslave. But they simply raided other African tribes for the simple fact of enslaving them. They would slave mostly the women and the children and some men. They would always kill off the elders of the village. They would sometimes rip off the bottom jaw of people so they can just run around in agonizing pain. They would sever the heads again of some of the elders and take them back to the villages as trophies of some sort. And one of the most brutal of them all actually is the warrior that Viola Davis is loosely based on. And this whole movie is extremely loosely based, right? Viola Davis's character and other of these Dahomey warriors went through a thing called desensitization training because they needed to basically take their humanity away from them so they wouldn't have any empathy or mercy for the people that they're trying to kill and enslave. So they would just kill and enslave brutally and unmercifully so without hesitation. They would do things like throwing people and babies off of cliffs on a regular fucking basis. They would often have mass sort of genocidal like mass killings for human sacrifices and other rituals. They were brutal. They were fucking brutal. If you know anything about the historical facts about some of the Aztec warriors or the Aztec communities, which was fucking brutal as well, killing off hundreds and hundreds of people at a time, just for, you know, human sacrifices and sort of rituals and stuff like that. They were just as brutal. So the fact that, especially when the trailer first came out, they definitely tried to portray an image of these strong African, proud African women and men who are trying to protect other Africans from these horrible white slavers, which was literally not the case. And even the French or the Europeans weren't even a giant section of the movie, but that's definitely the picture or portrayal they were trying to get across through the trailer, which was literally the complete opposite. Now, I understand in a movie they do touch on the fact that they were slave traders. However, they try to sort of whitewash it down by saying they were hesitant slave traders. So hesitant they became rich off of selling slaves, that they were conflicted in this and they wanted to stop, right? And that is also hogwash. They were pretty much forced to stop selling slaves, because if you don't know the history of the slave trade, the Americans and the Europeans are the ones who stopped the African slave trade. They're the ones who went to in one of the most expensive moral wars there is till this date, trying to stop other countries and fight other countries to stop selling slaves. Where there are many African countries who wanted to continue selling slaves because they made a lot of money off of it. The reason why the Dahomey actually went into the whole palm oil industry wasn't again because they just found it hard for their slaves and wanted to stop what they were doing. They did it because they basically were forced to find a new industry, and when they got into the palm oil business, they just used slave labor. Now, you might say, what's the big deal? I have mentioned plenty of times on this channel that that was just the way of the world back then, and I don't think any country should be held to their past sins and their past bloodshed, right? It's just, you know, like Bill Maher said, slave trading at the time, or having slaves, was the rule, not the exception, right? I don't think the ancestors from the Aztec warriors should have to, constantly redeem themselves for the sins of, their brutal ancestors, right? You can move on from that. I'm not trying to hold them to the fire of the past. However, in 2022, in a very racially conscious era, in a very racially divisive era, and an era of a time you're really trying to construct this narrative that white Europeans and Americans were the only ones that were ever involved in enslaving people, that white people just have this innate gene in them that just makes them vicious and monstrous and unempathetic, where people tried to eliminate the historical facts that Africa had a very heavy hand to play when it comes to the African slave trade. A matter of fact, without the Africans' participation and the willingness, there would be no African slave trade, at least not as big as it was. So I understand people taking creative liberties when it comes to historical films. I get that, and I think that is allowed. But no, my dears, you do not get to get away with that, because I don't even necessarily think that's what it was. I think this was Hollywood's attempt to rewrite history, because I tell you, I bet you, if the hashtag boycott Woman King didn't blow up, they were hoping that this was going to be the new Black Panther. They were hoping that this was going to be the new Wakanda. They were hoping that they were going to see droves and droves and whole Black family reunions, all dressed up like the Dahomey female warrior tribes, to go celebrate and applaud African slavers. Which is something is really perverted about that, to hope to wish to see a bunch of Black people dress up like African slavers and celebrate the history of that. That's a little bit perverted. And if that would have gone down well, they probably would have even packaged this up and sold it and taught it in universities, completing the full cycle of rewriting history. So much of this movie was so fictional that it's unbelievable. Again, the fact that they were trying to portray these female women warriors to be stronger than their male counterparts is also fictional. They went into 3 major battles, I believe, the Dahomey female warrior tribes, which the reason why there had to be a female warrior tribe, because they lost so many men in their attempts to get more slaves, that they had to create this female warrior tribe because they didn't have enough men anymore, right? And so they went into 3 major wars with the French, I believe, a French army that was protecting another African country from being enslaved, I believe, by the Dahomey, and they were brutally and utterly defeated all 3 times. I'm not saying that they weren't brave. I'm not saying that they weren't strong. I'm not saying they didn't have their convictions. I'm not saying they weren't powerful, but they were utterly defeated, like embarrassingly so, every single time they went into battle. Just saying. And speaking of convictions, I'm pretty sure at the time the Dahomey really believed like this was their right to something to protect, that this was their legacy, that they should have the freedom to run their country, their society, their establishment, and their culture how they see fit. They were fighting for that, and I'm pretty sure in their heart and their soul they thought they were on the right side of things. So I don't have a problem if they told a story that was well-rounded. Tell the entire story. Do not butter it up. Do not whitewash it. Do not tell it through a lens that's a little bit more digestible. Just tell the full story. You can show how brutal and merciless that this tribe was. You can show that they had a huge part to play when it came to the African slave trade. You can show how the families were impacted in such a horrible way by this tribe, but also show the humanity of these warriors. You can do both. But this is Hollywood, and this is 2022, and no one has the fucking cojones and the balls to actually tell that story. I just finished watching the Dahmer, the Monster miniseries on Netflix. It was okay. I give it a B+ and an A-, whatever. And they did a really good job showing you that Dahmer was a human being. He had parents. He had a childhood. He went to high school. He went to all these ups and downs. They showed his backstory to show how he became the Dahmer who he was. But they did it in a way that wasn't disrespectful to the victims. And then they also showed the horrible effects that he had on these people for years and years after he committed his crime. They showed both sides of the story in a respectful way. You can show the insidious of a person, but also show them as a well-rounded person. But that takes a talent to do that. That takes skill, and it takes really good writing and production and direction. And again, this is something that Hollywood is lacking. So I'm not saying I don't think the Woman King should have never existed. It could have been done well without getting this massive backlash that they have. And again, instead of just apologizing and saying, hey, we will do better in the future, we thought that we can take some creative liberties, we understand why this seems a little shady, I get that. Instead of doing that, they just pointed fingers and did what they always do and called everybody racist or misogynist. Which I'm really happy that a lot of the hashtag came from the Black community, because it makes it harder for them to hide behind that label. I was really surprised that Viola Davis actually took on this job, because she is sort of known as speaking about the Black community, very pro-Black this, pro-Black that. And I thought maybe she just wasn't aware, like, I couldn't imagine that, but I thought maybe. But the fact that Lupita actually was supposed to be in this film and she pulled out once she found out the true history of the Dahomey tribe, it in one sense makes me look at Viola Davis with a side eye, and she really just wanted that paycheck, and looks at Lupita and says, at least there are still actors in Hollywood that has a bit of integrity. I'm glad that this film is failing. I think that it's not a wake-up call, but it is a direct, fuck you to Hollywood, that you're not going to be able to pull the wool over our eyes. And I don't really understand. I do understand why they thought that they can get away with this. Because I think they think Black people are so thirsty for any type of validation that we will just take any scraps you throw us, which in the past it has been shown to be successful. But I think they forgot that the internet exists. I don't know why they thought they could get away with this, and I'm also not surprised that this film was created by 2 progressive white women. Just saying. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on this. I thought it was funny. Let me know what you guys think. Did you see the film? Will you want to see the film? Are you all for the hashtag boycott the Woman King? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm glad to be back. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can donate. My PayPal me link is in the description box below, and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all of the alternative platforms I'm on, my socials, including my Twitter, other ways to support me, and other ways to contact me for business, as always in the links down below. And if you like, you can super thanks. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle, or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below, and also in the comment section, hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, and follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye!